Network terminologies. There are several terms related to a computer network. Let us discuss some of them. Server. A server is also called host computer. It controls the access to the hardware and software on the network. It provides a centralized storage area for the programs, data, and information. The server which performs a specific task is called a dedicated server. The server which manages the printers and documents being printed is called the print server. The server which stores and provides the access to a database is called a database server. The server which manages the network traffic is called a network server. The server which delivers the requested web pages to our computer is called a web server. Client. It is a computer which depends on the server for all the resources. For example, a server might store a network version of Excel program. Every client on the network can access the Excel program from the server. Internet. Internet is a global network of millions of computers and computer networks all over the world. It allows us to access and share information over the network. The internet contains billions of websites to provide information. Intranet. A computer network that is used for sharing information, devices, and other computing services only within an organization is called intranet. URL. It stands for Uniform Resource Locator. It is the address of a website like www.google.com and www.redefine.com. It identifies the location of a website or a web page on the internet. Each page has a unique address called URL that identifies its location on the internet. Web browsers utilizes the URL to open or to retrieve files on internet. The format of a URL consists of different parts. The first part of the address, URL, indicates the protocol or service being used. It gives information to the browser about the type of server to connect to and by which protocol. The second part of the URL is a full qualified domain name, FQDN, which identifies the web address running on the server. The third part is the path name that refers to the location of files. The path name is always preceded by a single slash after the domain name. The fourth part is the file extension. URLs can be categorized into absolute URL and relative URL. ISP. It stands for Internet Service Provider. It is a company that provides internet access on payment of a monthly fee. Some of the ISPs are Airtel, Idea, BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited, MTNL, Mahanagar Telephone Nigam Limited, Jio, etc. IP address. An Internet Protocol IP address is a unique identification number assigned to a computer connected to a network. It has two main functions: host or network interface identification and location addressing. IP addresses are written and displayed in human-readable notations such as 172.16.254.1. DNS. Domain Name System. DNS is a naming system for addressing a name to the computers, services, or other resources connected to the network. This name is known as domain name. For example, the domain name in the www.yahoo.co.in URL is yahoo.co.in. The domain name is internally converted into IP address. Web page. A web page is a document of information that can be accessed and viewed through a web browser. A web page is generally contained in a website and constitutes as a source of information that floats in the World Wide Web. The information is usually coded in HTML, hypertext markup language. Web page may be retrieved from a local host computer or from a remote computer with the help of internet. Web pages are requested and served from web server using protocols like Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. Web pages may consist of static pages, which are stored within a file system of a web server, and or dynamic pages, which contain files of runtime nature, that is, which facilitates online data transformation. Web pages may contain information in the form of text, images, pictures, sound, audio, video, etc. Website. A location on the web server where an individual or any organization uploads its information is known as website. A website is a collection of one or more web pages which displays information with the help of a web browser. A website can be compared to a book which contains different chapters in the form of web pages. The first page of a website is known as home page. The pages on a website are linked to one another, and a person can navigate to any page by clicking on the links called hyperlinks. Websites are hosted on the web server on rental basis by the Internet Service Providers (ISP). In order to access them, every website is provided with a unique name. The websites may be owned by individuals, agencies, companies, colleges, universities, government bodies, etc. Web portal. A website that is specifically designed to provide a single point of access for information is called web portal. Web portals are also known simply as portals. The major difference between a website and a web portal is that a portal works as a gateway to www and provides several services. On the other hand, a website may provide only some limited services. Hypertext. The text that has a special feature of connecting one web page to another is called a hypertext. Link. A link can be defined as a web address that is used to make connectivity between web pages. Hyperlink. A hyperlink is simply a part of the web page that is linked to a URL. A hyperlink can appear as text, an image, or a navigational tool such as a button or an arrow. When you click on a hyperlink, you will jump to the URL specified by the hyperlink. Hyperlinked text usually looks different from a normal text in a web page. It is often underlined but can be formatted in a number of ways. Bandwidth. The capability of a transmission medium to transmit the maximum amount of data from one computer to another over a computer network in a given amount of time is called bandwidth. A bandwidth is generally in bits per second, BPS, or bytes per second, BPS, kilobytes per second, KBPS, and megabytes per second, MBPS. There can be various types of bandwidths, which are network bandwidth, data bandwidth, and digital bandwidth.